In LA this week, the murder of an assembly member's father in his own Silver Lake home has not been forgotten. Your help is needed to solve the crime.
I'm Anna Marcos. The Valley's cops and firefighters get a little recognition as city leaders host the E Awards. That's coming up.
A celebration of our city's heritage. We take you to Native American Heritage Month celebrations at City Hall. Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. City leaders announce a $50,000 reward for a second time, along with a freeway dedication, as the LAPD struggles to solve the murder of the father of a local lawmaker. Investigators hope the public's eyes and ears help crack the case. Anna Marcos has more.
A section of the 10 freeway in San Bernardino now named in memory of a man shot in cold blood near his Silver Lake neighborhood a year ago. In spite of the lack of leads, 78-year-old Joseph Gatto, a former educator and father of Assemblymember Mike Gatto, has not been forgotten. LAPD officers say they are still investigating the case, and they re-announced the $50,000 reward still out for information that helps catch the killer.
LAPD has physical evidence connected with this case, and we believe that with the public's help and with the right tip, we can solve the case.
Police are tight-lipped about what evidence they do have, but soon after the death a year ago, they released information on a so-called person of interest seen in the Silver Lake neighborhood on November 12, 2013, the day Gatto was shot. The person of interest was allegedly involved in a car burglary and threatened to kill 2 other witnesses with a gun. He is described as white, about 5'9" and 180 pounds, last seen wearing tan pants and a hooded sweatshirt. Police say no tip is too small in this case.
I saw this guy, I've never seen him before, and let me tell you what I saw. Those kinds of things are the things that detectives want.
This murder rocked my family and it rocked the Silver Lake neighborhood. It is very rare for something like this to happen in that part of town.
Anyone with information can call the LAPD's Robbery and Homicide Division at 213-486-6890, or to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The late Joseph Gatto helped co-found the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts. Family and supporters of a man shot and killed by LAPD officers have been asking for his autopsy to be made public in a timely fashion. City leaders now say the results are forthcoming.
We're here today to ask for help from the public, and we're here today united in the search for truth. The community, the Ford family, our police officers, and this city deserve nothing less, the truth and nothing but the truth.
Flanked by Councilmember Curran Price, LAPD Chief Charlie Beck, and District Attorney Jackie Lacey, Mayor Eric Garcetti announces that autopsy results on Ezell Ford will be made public by the end of the year. But he also asked for more witnesses to come forward as the investigation into the shooting continues. Ford was shot and killed by 2 South LA police officers on August 11th. Officers maintain that Ford tackled one of the officers and reached for the officer's gun, prompting the 2 to open fire. Ford's family says that Ford did nothing wrong and that, moreover, police knew that Ford was mentally challenged.
We do not have direct witnesses at this point, although we have people in the community saying that they are such witnesses or know of witnesses. That's why it is so important that we make this one last plea. If you know anything about this case, if you know a witness, if you were a witness, please come forward. And if you're reluctant to come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department, then I understand that. Standing with me today is our great District Attorney Jackie Lacey. And she will tell you, and we will make available avenues by which you can go forward to her office.
Chief Beck says the autopsy report on Ezell Ford has been on a security hold because the department wants to ensure witness statements are untainted so they can get to the truth. A fallen Valley traffic officer is commemorated at his division. Rasha Goel has more on how a memorial will serve as a reminder of the difference he made in the community.
In April of this year, 51-year-old LAPD officer Christopher Cortijo, who was on his motorcycle, died from injuries after he was struck by an SUV driven by an allegedly drug-impaired driver in Sun Valley. He was on duty at the time. Cortijo, who worked at Valley Traffic Division, had twice been named Officer of the Year and had arrested more than 3,000 DUI suspects during his career. The LAPD and city leaders recently honored Cortijo in a unique way by dedicating a small library in his name.
We just opened a new little free library so that the young people of this community can come in here, get a book, feel comfortable and safe in Valley Traffic Division here.
The LAPD has been opening several little free libraries inside police stations where children can stop by and pick up a book or bring back another book to share. But the library wasn't the only way the fallen officer was remembered.
Now we're down in our roll call room where the division has put a memorial to him with a motorcycle that was built to be exactly like his motorcycle.
Officer Cortijo's wife says the memorial will keep her husband's spirit alive, but she also has a message she wants to share.
People should be more cautious when they drink and drive, because innocent people die, and it leaves a lot of emptiness.
Officer Cortijo's memorial may not be able to fill the void he left behind, but it will serve as a reminder of how one man truly lived and died to serve his community. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
City leaders also introduced a motion to name the intersection of Van Nuys Boulevard and Arminta Street as Officer Chris Cortijo Square. And Officer Cortijo's death serves to highlight the dangers that face public safety personnel daily. Anna Marcos takes us to the annual E-Awards for Excellence in Public Safety luncheon, where many were recognized for their service.
It's a lot of brass in one room as LAPD officers and LA firefighters get together for the annual E-Awards for Excellence in Public Safety.
Most importantly, we're recognizing our superheroes in law enforcement, those that have gone over and above the call of duty.
I also appreciate my employees. I know how hard they work, I know how tough their jobs are, and I think it's important that they see me as somebody that supports them also.
These are not guys and women prone to tooting their own horns. They like to say they were doing their duty. In one case, a shooter ambushed Valley officers. Luckily, the officer shot survived and is okay, and the shooter got caught.
I knew it was over my head. I needed the help of other officers. I called them, and one of the officers that came there for me ends up getting shot. So, I kind of feel bad.
One firefighter somehow found a woman's home that had burst into flames, and he did it without an address.
She actually didn't know her address, and it was just kind of by chance that I heard something in the background on the dispatch that clued me into where she was, and we were able to find her in time.
Don't be fooled by this cop's gentle demeanor. She works hard to put really bad guys away.
I have been very successful and instrumental in some prosecutions and deportations of several registered sex offenders that have plagued our city parks.
These E-Awards have a long tradition that started with former council members Hal Burnson and Greg Smith. Ex-council member Dennis Zine then started the similar Z Awards, and the two events have now been combined.
We used to have the E Awards and the Z Awards, and now we have just one big E Award, one big excellent, yeah.
It may be a fun event, but the reminders that public safety is a dangerous job are never far away. This year, the LAPD has lost 8 officers, 3 of them on the job. Awards like this are very much deserved. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Some of the LAPD's up-and-coming cadets also received recognition and scholarships for their work volunteering in the community. Another aging downtown building has been brought back to life. This time it's the historic Broadway Arts Tower. Anita Bennett takes us inside for a tour.
What was once a department store built in 1928 is now a commercial office space in downtown Los Angeles. The newly restored building, known as the Broadway Arts Tower, just underwent a $2 million upgrade, yet it still maintains much of its original charm.
The only things that we really added were internet, AC, a new elevator, and very basic things that you have to have nowadays.
The 6-year development project was part of Council District 14's Bring Back Broadway initiative.
Being at 5th and Broadway, I am very excited about because as we watch things pop up along Broadway, we get the connector points, and it will absolutely be great when we're full and that energy can spread out and the other streets can work towards us.
During the restoration, the original hardwood floors, grand staircase, and brass handrails were all left intact. But there is one big change. The rear windows were turned into a mural.
The back of the building reminded me of the building within the old movie Rear Window. So I chose to use those images from that film to replace the missing windows.
Now the developer is counting on that artwork and other modern touches to draw new tenants to this building, which sat vacant for several decades. I'm Anita Bennett for LA This Week.
The Broadway Arts Tower is the first large commercial office building to open on South Broadway since the Great Depression in the 1930s. Native Americans have a lot to celebrate during American Indian Heritage Month. The city's festivities got underway recently at City Hall. Yana Kay takes us there.
This traditional Native American tribal dance represents family strength and unity, and helped kick off American Indian Heritage Month at City Hall. Participants say the event gives them a chance to show their appreciation to their loved ones.
I have family that takes care of me, and I love my family and friends because they're like older brothers and sisters to me.
Native American Heritage Month also recognizes many of the contributions Native American tribes had on Los Angeles, dating back to the 1700s. Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell, who was sworn into the Wyandotte Nation by the tribe's chief, Billy Friend, last June, said events like these help remind Angelenos of all the sacrifices made by Native Americans.
I think as we mature, we recognize and value more and more our own heritage, the sacrifices that our ancestors made, and that fortifies us and makes us realize that the very DNA that we are made from is made stronger by those that came before us.
Earlier in the day, inside council chambers, O'Farrell recognized the Torres Martinez Desert Cahuilla Indians for all the work they do on behalf of Native Americans.
Thanks to your organizations in your city and in your county, they've made it a success for us.
And the hope is these kinds of celebrations will keep history alive for future generations. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
Native American Heritage Month was coordinated by Councilmember O'Farrell and the Native American Indian Commission. A new mural is helping bring character and life to a street that's been a vital part of the Northridge community. Rasha Goel has more on how this mural is reviving the past but setting a new vibe for the future.
For the Northridge community, this new mural is more than just artwork on a wall.
Not only is it the first mural that's going to be part of the history walk of Northridge, but it's a sense of the community coming together.
Northridge Sparkling Campaign, a beautification organization, and the Museum of the San Fernando Valley brought on artist Tim Cornelius to create the mural.
Because my dad's a fine artist and he loves to paint trains and depots, I thought I would do this as an homage to him.
The mural, known as Zelsa Train Depot, is painted on the side of a CD store on the corner of Reseda Boulevard and Rand Street. It's the first of 11 historically themed pieces of art envisioned for Northridge's Reseda Boulevard, part of a plan to revitalize the city's main business corridor.
You're all looking for a change, to take this community, to take the Reseda, the corridor, the gateway to Northridge, and create what you're starting to see today. And there's a vision and there's a future.
It reminds me of the past, and I have fond memories of the past. My dad grew up in the valley and all that, and it's just lovely.
Reseda Boulevard, from Parthenia to Plummer, is also one of 15 local neighborhoods recently designated by Mayor Eric Garcetti for his Great Streets initiative, which aims to turn this corridor into a more business and pedestrian-friendly district. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
And a lot more is happening in the valley to improve quality of life. A major thoroughfare there just got a street lift as city officials make it more pleasant for drivers to get around. Yana Kay has more.
Driving north and southbound on Van Nuys Boulevard between Magnolia Avenue and Ventura Boulevard just got a little more enjoyable thanks to a Los Angeles City repaving project.
You don't hit the potholes, you don't hit the ruts in the street.
Crews resurfaced 1.3 miles of street on the heavily traveled stretch of the boulevard and did it in just 2 days by using 2 paving machines at the same time. And for local drivers, it didn't seem to be too much of an inconvenience.
Most of the streets have been paved, and there's no problem. So for a day or two, you take Hazeltine or some other street and get around, This is no big deal.
In addition to the repaving, upgrades include new lane stripping, repainted curbs, and sidewalk cleanup.
Our approach right now is to save streets while they are in somehow a fair condition. If we decided to wait, let's say 2 more years or 3 more years, this $600,000 project would become a $2.5 million project.
City officials say they were able to save about 25% on the entire cost of the project. That's because crews were able to reuse and recycle most of the asphalt. Ramps to and from the 101 freeway to Van Nuys were also shut down, allowing Caltrans the opportunity to conduct routine maintenance on the exit ramps. A brief pause in traffic for a smooth ride for years to come. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
It's been 16 years since Van Nuys Boulevard was last resurfaced. With California facing the worst drought on record, many folks are stepping up and doing what they can to save water. As Yana Kay reports, some community members are leading by example.
The Los Angeles Police Department's Topanga station in the San Fernando Valley welcomes visitors with a tranquil and peaceful setting, complete with drought-tolerant vegetation and California native plants. It's all thanks to LAPD's Topanga Restoring Its Urban Ecosystem, or TRU, Community Landscape Project, an ongoing effort to transform the station's landscape into a sustainable and drought-tolerant garden.
This has been done pretty much entirely with donated funds and volunteer labor.
And for all their efforts, community members and volunteers were recognized recently during a Community Choice Awards luncheon in Woodland Hills.
They do so much in the community on so many levels, not only keeping us safe, but this environmental stewardship through the TRU program has been just fantastic. So, Officer Rodriguez, thank you so much.
Because of the drought and severe heat, the station's previous landscaping dried out and died. So in 2011, the station partnered with community groups to install a drought-tolerant ecosystem.
We don't want someone to come into a building that looks like it's a vacant building because the weeds and everything is dead. We want to make sure that it's a beautiful, enjoyable location.
10 local business owners who have improved their properties were also honored at the event.
Anything that any of us can do to help with that water recycling and drought-resistant planting and all of that is going to be very helpful in our efforts.
Efforts that don't only make the community look more beautiful, but also help save precious water. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The TRU project is currently seeking donations in order to install a new irrigation system. A night of compliments for South LA students inspire them to greater achievements in school and in life.
How do you feel?
I feel great to be honored.
5th grader Mila Perkins receives a medal for a job well done. The most improved student of the year at Manchester Elementary School gets showered with compliments at a lavish awards dinner, where she and her family can bask in the spotlight.
Celebrate my little genius here and inspire her just to capture the world with her imagination and just the beauty within her. And I'm just really proud of her today.
Over 70 South LA students received the star treatment at this year's State of the 8th Awards Gala. 8th District Councilman Bernard Parks, with his wife Bobby, explains.
What we give is an overview of our accomplishments, but we also honor many of our schools in the 8th District, many of the classes for the best grade point average in each class, and the most improved student.
This marks the final State of the Eighth event for Parks. As councilman, he'll be termed out of office in July. During his 10 years hosting the dinner, he's noticed that many of the most improved students go on to earn highest GPA awards in later years. He largely credits positive reinforcement from parents and from events like this.
I improved in my work and stuff, and I worked really hard.
I know my son works hard in school and, does his very best, so I really appreciate it, and I know he does too.
A handful of adults also received the red carpet treatment for helping the children improve their grades and succeed in school. Councilman Parks says he's touched when former awardees approach him as adults and tell him they're now in college and pursuing their dreams. City leaders raise awareness on Alzheimer's disease. The city's first non-residential roundabout could ease traffic flow at a busy intersection, and enrolling in an LADWP payment plan online. These stories in CITYBEAT. The City Council recently helped bring public awareness to a disease plaguing 5 million Americans today, Alzheimer's.
There are over 15 million unpaid caregivers, and that equates to over 17.7 billion hours of care, to the tune of over $220 billion.
The hope is for awareness to result in funding for the treatment of and cure for the disease, but also for financial and emotional support for those who care for those with Alzheimer's. A roundabout is in the works for the community of Boyle Heights in Council District 14. The latest renderings were unveiled for the $4.3 million Cinco Puntos traffic circle to be constructed with the existing All Wars Memorial on East Cesar Chavez Avenue as its centerpiece. Cinco Puntos means 5 points in Spanish. While popular in Europe and on the East Coast, where they are also called rotaries, this roundabout is thought to be the first non-residential one here in Los Angeles. Instead of a traditional intersection, a roundabout requires motorists to slow down and merge into a circular traffic pattern, looping them around to their exit. Los Angeles Department of Water and Power customers now have the ability to enroll in payment plan options online at LADWP.com. LADWP's payment plan helps customers who may need a little more time to pay their utility bill. In the past, the only way to enroll in a payment plan was to call the LADWP Customer Contact Center and speak with a customer service representative. Now customers can visit LADWP.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to enroll. But LADWP customers must have an online account and meet eligibility requirements to enroll. You can find LA history in some unexpected places. Case in point, a fast food joint in Wilmington can now call itself a historical landmark. Wienerschnitzel has been dishing out fast food in a hot dog bun to hungry customers for decades. And now the very first Wienerschnitzel in the nation, located in Wilmington, is finally getting its due. The city of Los Angeles designated the fast food stand, built at 900 West Pacific Coast Highway, a historical landmark.
We're here to officially celebrate the first Wienerschnitzel in the entire world here in Wilmington, California, and also recognize John Gallardi, who is the entrepreneur who came here in Wilmington in 1961 and decided to open the first hot dog stand.
John Gallardi was only 23 years old when he opened his first store, not long after working at Taco Tia, a restaurant owned by Glenn Bell Jr., creator of the Taco Bell restaurant chain.
So John thought about it and he thought, well, I can't do tacos. That would be competing with my friend, his best friend at the time, Glenn Bell. I don't want to compete with the McDonald brothers, so I'm going to do hot dogs.
There's stories for days about this place that I probably can't get into. Just kidding. Yeah, 1961, it opened its doors and, it set the precedent for the rest of the chain. And for it still to be standing today and for the city of LA and Wilmington to honor it and classify it as a historical landmark it's a huge deal, and we couldn't be more excited.
Bob Trujillo, who along with his real estate partner went into business with Gallardi and built this very first stand, as well as some 500 other Wienerschnitzels.
We grew too fast and we got in a lot of financial trouble. Couldn't pay the bills, and so we sent a letter out to 200 landlords and said, we're not paying any rent. If you have any questions, call. Well, they all called, and so it took us about 5 years to work it out. But then we put in a buy a Coke, keep the glass promotion, and it tripled our sales. It was 15 cents for the Coke glass. So we sold 15 million of those, and that's what saved our company.
One smart promotion and countless hot dogs. Now that's the stuff fast food legends are made of. This is the fourth historical designation in Wilmington, and this Wienerschnitzel in Wilmington is only the second roadside food stand to receive such an honor from the city. A local recreation center receives a new gift, one that will hopefully inspire families to exercise and enjoy the outdoors. Rasha Goel has more.
Residents are celebrating the grand opening of the Fred Roberts Synthetic Soccer Field in South Los Angeles. The new field is a major renovation at the center.
You know, it covered an old dirt field that used to be here, and we made some improvements on the exterior, some benches there, a little exercise cycle. So it's a real family-friendly.
It looks totally different. It looks better.
The new synthetic field is the 28th field to be operated and maintained by the Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks in an effort to provide better resources for the community.
By putting one field, it's like serving 3 additional soccer fields because it could be played on nonstop.
Amazing park like this will provide a lot of opportunities for youth soccer players out here to get out there and run around and work hard.
Aside from inspiration, officials say synthetic fields save roughly 1.8 million gallons of water per year. Perhaps that's a goal worth kicking for. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Other renovations at the Fred Roberts Park include new security lights, a walking path, and new fencing. In this week's list of things to do, the reindeer romp at the LA Zoo, a free family art workshop, and an exhibit called Hot House. There's no shortage of holiday things to do here in LA. For starters, the ever-popular reindeer have landed at the LA Zoo for the holidays. They will spend Christmas and New Year's here before flying off on January 4th. You can pay a visit anytime from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily, except on Christmas Day when the zoo is closed. The LA Zoo is located at 5333 Zoo Drive. Go to lazoo.org for details. The Los Angeles Municipal Art Gallery holds free family art workshops every Sunday at the Barnsdall Art Park campus. The workshop on Sunday, December 7th from 10 a.m. to noon will touch on the gallery's current LA Islam exhibits. Families are invited to work with diverse materials to create vibrant artworks influenced by the traditional motifs and contemporary images from 2 exhibitions currently on display featuring Islamic art. All ages are welcome, all materials are provided. Barnsdall Art Park is located at 4800 Hollywood Boulevard. Go to barnsdall.org. Currently on display at the Watts Towers Arts Center is the exhibit Hot House, on display until January 11th. Artist Allison Sarr's Hot House addresses the tug of nature on our bodies and psyche. 2 sculpted pieces, Foison and Fallow, 2 female figures, frame the scope of the work in the show. Foison's abdomen reveals a flourishing scene, alive with moths, cocoons, and caterpillars. Fallow's abdomen, however, reveals a dark and somber scene of death and infertility. The Watts Towers Art Center is located at 1727 East 107th Street. For gallery hours, go to wattstowers.org. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Movements, the angles of the bodies, checking the ground for signs, trails of the game of the enemy, looking to the horizons for dust clouds of the cavalry. Our warriors are prepared.